can move on to our next speaker, Christian Jonathan. He's a co-founder and of the company AI for Impact, and he works there with really cool AI and machine learning products. So he'll be telling us how to delve into AI and the AI world. So Christian, you can take it away.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Aditya. So, hi everyone. I'm the last speaker of the day, so I'll try to make it as light as possible. And my topic is how can you kickstart your AI journey while still in universities, which lots of our speakers have answered actually. So, uh, let me just share a bit on my point of view, and just to highlight what they have been saying as well, like about building portfolio while in uni. I think lots of things they already said, and I like to emphasize on our point of view is that, like, how can you, which, what is the recipe based on the success stories from our students. So yeah, some of you might know us, some of you might not know us yet. So AI for Impact is actually a global AI learning community. To be honest, it's accidental for us to be global. In fact, we are actually based in Singapore. 2020, when COVID happens, like we, because okay, so what we do is that, like, we actually organize lots of datathon. Datathon is called like a bootcamp plus a competitions where you can actually learn machine learning, learn deep learning, and then like apply it to a real world challenge, right? So we started in NUS. We have a physical bootcamp. We have a physical competition as well. Like a lot of companies also like come there to just, I mean, look for talent, right? But COVID happens in 2020. We kind of move it to virtual, and when we had our competitions, right? A deep learning datathon. We work with together with SG Innovate. It was quite interesting actually, where we use deep learning to actually predict energy prices using live data in a wind farm in France. A lot of people coming in, like a lot of students come in, not just from Singapore, like, but also from Kazakhstan, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, Philippines, Hong Kong, Nigeria, Senegal, right? And we are quite surprised actually, like, what with the hunger, right? I think AI is actually being told it's not, I mean, it's actually, there are a lot of open source, like, courses and free courses available, but we realize that people learn best when they are in community, when they have mentors, when they have fellow students who learn. And we are actually expanding because of the students, right? I mean, we don't just work with the university, we work mostly with student clubs. And right now, in fact, like our training materials, right, are translated in different languages. So we have English language, we have Bahasa Indonesia as well. And just now, actually, like our students from Kazakhstan just called us, right? They say, hey, like our ML courses are now translated in Russian, right? Because they all speak Russian. So we are global air learning communities, and we have 3,000 students so far. I think around 2,000 just added in, like, during COVID. We just want to make sure that time are productive for everyone. Real challenges, I think, as lots of people, like all of speakers I've already mentioned, right? Companies are not looking really for learners. Companies are actually looking for problem solvers. So when they are looking for talents, when they are scouting for talents right now, when they are looking for AI talent, data science talent, they are looking for someone with track record, with portfolio, with as much as possible, like someone who have experience solving real world problems. So what we do is that, like, I think I know that, like, I mean, most data science projects are limited with data. So we kind of gathered ourselves like some data sets that we can use and then convert it into some problem sets. So last January in 2020, we have a deep learning datathon where we use AI to predict forecast dengue. In June, we have a datathon where we actually collect energy prices in Europe. And then, like, we have some kind of live trading competitions, right? It's actually quite fun. And in the end, like, Singapore students actually beat professionals when it comes to, the profit, getting the as highest profit, which means that their deep learning models are very accurate. So it doesn't mean that when you are in university, doesn't mean that you can perform. Hard work and perseverance actually sometimes triumphs like skills. So yeah, we just want to help students gain some industry recognitions. And yeah, our materials right now are freely available, so you can actually start learning AI and also building some AI applications. yesterday, like no, last year we do deep learning. It's quite costly for us. Actually, in fact, the students actually work so hard that actually they blow up our, not blow up, I would say, they kind of blow up our AWS credit. So we spend like I think $20,000 to subsidize the students' project, but it's okay. I think it's for everyone. So right now we have some free platform for chatbot because it's actually low compute power right now. So if you guys are interested in chatbots, you want to build, you are interested in NLP, you want to learn how it's practiced in real life, maybe you can just join our community. So yeah, we are powered by a community. AI for Impact itself is a global community as well, and we are focusing on learning. So yeah, accessible to non-programmers, of course, but it doesn't mean that you should not learn how to code, because as you are growing more advanced, you need to have an options of tools that you can use yourself to build more accurate models, to build more robust solutions. Yeah, so here are the three students that we personally like taught right now. Just want to share stories on how they grow. So Clarence actually is a data science student year 2 at that time, and he actually was actually the second winner for our dengue forecasting challenge. But what he did is that I don't want to emphasize on what he did like to get accurate models, but what he did after that, after he completed the datathon, because that actually makes lots of difference for when it comes to getting you guys some opportunity in career, right? So what he did after datathon, after he actually built the dengue forecasting models, he published it on Medium. So when you publish it on Medium, like when you publish your methodology as well, lots of people actually can see your results, right? And it's not just publishing on Medium, he published it on LinkedIn as well. So what happened is that because he published it on LinkedIn, some recruiters or some people who are actually having some kind of scholarship program actually engage him. And then long story short, he get accepted as DSO, as intern, and he actually performed very well as well on that part, because he's done hardcore dengue project before, right? But what he does in the end, he gets some scholarships actually. He DSO offered him some scholarships. Right now I think he's year 3, so he's completing year 4, and then he get full-time employment after that. He's actually a stat student, like a year 2 at that time. Mintu also is is an interesting story as well. Mintu is our chemistry student from NTU, but what he did is that he's actually he's very proactive. He's engaging lots of machine learning community. He's actually engaging us as well. And he participated, I think, in 2 of our datathons. The first one is to predict energy demand. The second one is to predict energy prices, right? But what he does that actually impresses us is that he comes in with a blank slate, and he comes in with a domain experience, domain background. So he's actually very humble to understand the domain. Like some people, like when it comes to solving problem, they say, okay, I want to use Python, I want to use TensorFlow and all that. They start with the tools. I think that's not the right way of solving it. From practitioner's point of view, right? I think when you want to solve problem, you start with the problem itself. And Mintu is humble enough to dissect what causes the energy change. When it comes to energy demand, what causes the change in in the fluctuation in demands. So he found out that in energy demand, because it's in Europe, the energy consumption in summer is different than energy consumption in winter, and he used that as a basis to build his forecasting model. And he actually won against a professional trader. Actually, he won number 1 in terms of getting highest profit, despite not coming from programming background, despite not coming from data science background. And again, he did the same thing. He published his results on Medium, and he published it on LinkedIn. In fact, after that, actually, he gets some internship, not final year project with MIT right now to do personalized medicine using machine learning. So it was very interesting. But moral of the story is you need to publish your results. You need to showcase your portfolio as well, because companies are looking for problem solvers. Grace as well, she comes from psychology. In the end, she didn't go into data science route, because she is actually more interested in building products other than building models in a way. But she was actually involved in data science project to predict, I think, energy energy failure in a IoT system and in energy maintenance, basically. IoT is maintenance. So what she found out is that, like, I think these three actually like grow their portfolio during their universities, and these three doesn't come from technical background, data science background, maybe except Clarence, but Clarence also is still in year 2. So the way he succeed, I think, is because he actually bothered to work hard to actually look at the problems. So look at the problems first before solving it, instead of going to the tools right away. And the third one, he published it on LinkedIn. So in a way that instead of them sourcing for companies actually look for them, because again, companies are looking for problem solvers. So I mean, maybe just if you forget all things I said, just remember that companies are looking for problem solvers, not just learners. So the way to differentiate yourself from the rest is that you need to solve problems. You need to showcase that you can solve problems. So yeah, you can hear more of us from AI for Impact Instagram. There are lots of stories as well that we tell. So is there anyone from SIM who have been from who've actually progressed? We do have actually. In fact, I think Cherry actually is from DAC, right? She okay. She invited us for me to be the speaker, but she actually does actually quite well as well. She gives. I think she joined our chatbot competition in June. She built the chatbots that actually help people like keep occupied during the COVID, and it's quite successful. A lot of people like the chatbot, and I think this is what we are looking for, right? When she wants to apply for jobs later on, she has a portfolio that showcase. It's not. I think in her case, it's not just portfolio, but actually it's an actual chatbot. So I think this is what differentiate, let's say, how you make yourself stand out in terms, I mean, compared to other like students, solve problems and build something that actually your employers can access. So yeah, um, maybe just for the interest of time, I can just skip this, but you can watch Cherry's, like, I think what she said at AI for Impact Instagram. So yeah, AI in reality, I think it's not just about programming, right? I think what the two speakers like has actually beautifully summarized is that tools actually come by anytime, come and go. And learning computer science actually doesn't mean that you will be excel in AI only. You need to learn the math and statistics as well, right? But to be honest, from the practitioner point of view, it really depends, because I think sometimes, right, you also can, when you actually actively like solve problems, you actually build an intuitions. So what we found out is that how our students succeed is that actually they are reading the graphs. They know that, like, let's say, oh, I figure out that after 1000 iterations, like, actually my loss is actually going down. That means that the training moves smoothly, or the training moves too smoothly in a way it becomes suspicious, right? So I think what it boils down when it comes to building AI portfolio, I think it's about experience. You need to try a lot when you are still in university, because in university gives you a lot of wrap up time before you move on into like career. So in university, like, people are more forgiving to you, or you are students, I think they give you like chance. But during the working life, working world, like, companies are less forgiving. Like, I mean, we are using AI to forecast weather, and when we forecast weather, like, not accurately, right? It's because our clients are all in the middle of the sea, right? People are complaining, like, people are angry with us. So I mean, corporates are less forgiving, but in universities, people actually like tolerate mistakes. So try as much as possible, build the intuitions. If you don't understand the math, try to build the intuition to do so. And I think more importantly, what people often forget is that AI also is about understanding the business knowledge. Why? Because in the business world, you are actually dealing with a lot of stakeholders right now. When you are trying to pitch AI for medicine, you can't just say that, oh, how do you figure out this is the right medicine for you? Oh, because the calculus, right? I mean, because this actually creates like the lowest loss right now. People don't buy that. You need to be able to communicate when, if you want to be successful in AI career. And how do you do so? I think you need to have some domain experience. Right now, I think companies are now pragmatic enough when it comes to hiring. People don't just looking for really like pure AI or data science talent, but they are looking for data science talent with some kind of domain experience. So again, how do you collect that? Internships. Like I think you have to do that. You need to pick up the industry skills through like real experience, and internship gives you some kind of domain expertise on how AI is applied, let's say in e-commerce, or how AI is applied in medicine, right? Or how AI is applied in finance, in fintech. Internship is really important, guys. So as much as possible, even in year one, you need to actually try to apply internship as early as possible, even for free, because that experience actually gives you some perspective on your next learning progress. The earlier you start, the earlier you get your exponential career growth. This is what we saw from our students as well. Yeah. So what are the 3 steps, right, to kickstart your journey as students while still in uni? I think for us, I think this actually has been covered by the previous speakers, but we do have some kind of a framework on how you build your career portfolio, right? So the first one, okay, there are 3 stages: learn, do, impact. So the first part is actually learn. So when it comes to learn, right, how do you approach it? What is the best way of actually learning? The first thing is actually to focus on concepts. The reason is like what the previous speakers mentioned, right? AI is actually evolving. The tools are evolving right now. Maybe I think right now, I mean, Python still dominates the open source language. But if you look at lots of statistics, actually people are now considering other alternatives as well. And the reason I think from our standpoint as well, because we run AI models on a daily basis, right? Hundred thousands of models on a daily basis, and we found out that Python can be a bit slower for deployment. So that's why I think a lot of companies are looking for other options that are cheaper and faster. And I think right now, I think there are lots of alternatives as well, like Julia comes in. I think also like Torch also comes in to consider Swift as well, Swift Torch. So tools moving a lot, like all the time. But you know what? Neural network has been there since 1950s, and the concept doesn't change. Linear regressions, logistic regression has been there since like around 60s, 80s, like even longer than that. And the concept doesn't change. So when it comes to learning, you try not to hit the moving target. Instead, try to actually internalize what data science is about, what deep learning is about. I would say start from top to bottom. First, understand what end-to-end data science is about. What does it take for you to come up with I mean, deep learning solution, right? Or you need to clean data. You need a clean data. Or you need to structure the data in a way. You need to engineer the feature, right? Feature engineering. You need to do modeling, but modeling is not enough. You need to do deployment, right? So know the surveys first, then you start and pick up the basic technique as well. Regression is okay. Regression is cool because it's transparent, it's easily understandable. Neural networks, I think, is powerful, but it might not necessarily be cool as well, because you need to explain to your stakeholders, right? Let's say if you're in finance, you try to rate, measure your insurance. I mean, you need to you want to score the credit, provide interest rate scoring about your in insurance, right? Or bank, right? You need to explain to your creditors, right? Why is my interest rate 1.4% compared to 1.6%? You can't say that like, oh, this is black box. So I would say, I think as a students, right, sometimes people are always have this peer pressure that if you want to learn, this is like deep learning era, this is TensorFlow era, this is like or maybe like reinforcement learning era. Don't be trapped with the hype. Start with concepts and start with the focus on simple models. Like I think this is also like how you approach it as well. Second one is pick a domain that suits your interest, because otherwise data science journey can be boring, can be dry sometimes. And if you're not picking the right problem sets at the start, I think you'll be it can be a bit dry. So what I suggest is that, like, I think you explore like what data science is, like what are the applications in the real world. And let's say if you are interested in finance, try to pick up a problem set that is related to finance, right? Stock forecasting. It can be boring for someone who are not interested in finance, but if you are now trading stocks right now, right? It can be fun. Cryptocurrency forecasting, it can be fun as well. maybe your model might fail because right now you see that cryptocurrency is driven by news, is quite irregular, but at least you understand what it takes for you to come up with a good forecasting model, right? So pick a domain that suits your interest. Don't make your learning journey painful. And the third one, I think, learn in groups. We found out that I think the ideal actually group to learn together is 3 to 5. If you have too many, I think you becomes like a bit unfocused. And but if you have too few, it also gets a bit like dry as well. Um, some students learn at different pace, and even adults learn at different pace. And some students can absorb certain techniques better than the other. Like some people are interested in the, let's say, in the infrastructure, some people are interested in the problem solving, some people are interested in domain. Make sure that you guys actually learn in a micro group learning. 3 to 5 in our opinion is the best ideal setup. But more importantly, I think try to pick up a community as well. So you have a micro learning group, but you are also mentored by some expert or some more experienced individuals, right, in a larger setting, like Data Science SG or AI for Impact or other communities. Yeah, learn in group is always more fun in a way, especially when you see like other people actually struggle the same way as you, right? You thought, oh, this is very hard, but oh, actually it's commonly hard, so you feel less bad in a way. The second one is do. There goes without saying. You learn if you learn like neural network, if you learn regression, you don't apply it, your knowledge is gone because other it's not stick, right? But not all projects are created equal as well. So how do we like section projects actually? How do our students section projects? The first one is industry projects. Industry projects come in when you are doing internships, or I mean when you're doing data with us as well. But internship, I think, is the I mean the simplest scenario when you are actually doing data science projects under companies. When the company say, hey, let's say I'm from let's say a hedge fund, right? Or maybe easier, I'm an e-commerce company, right? I want to know like how to target my advertising depending on the age group audience. So they give you like the data sets of maybe like of the traffic, right? They give you the audience profile as well, and they give you a certain product that you need to analyze. Hey, let's say Christian, like give me like some analysis by the end of the week on like on how many people, what is the ideal like profile idea when it comes to selling sports shoes, for example, right? So these are the first criteria, right? When the companies or industries directly give you these projects and it's unfiltered, it's as is, right? So this is the first one. The second one is open projects, when actually it's done on a voluntary basis. Let's say a company gives out some kind of challenges on Kaggle or GitHub, and I mean you work together as a community. Some of them are unfiltered, but while some of them are also massage as well. What I mean by massage is that I think they kind of like design it for a training purposes, so they make some parts of the aspect easy. So not easy, easier I would say. So open projects are considered that one, right? You can find it out on Kaggle, you can find it on GitHub. They are actually developed by some kind of passionate community. And the other one, tutorial projects. Tutorial projects typically is used for, let's say, if you are at the like Coursera or HackerRank, right? You are doing some lessons, right? You are taking the courses and you are doing the tutorial projects. Basically, it's actually like segmented to a specific topics. If you are learning like let's say linear regression for time series forecasting, the tutorial project will be a linear regression on time series forecasting on a clean data, basically. So as a student, right, which one do you have to choose? Which one do you select? For me, I'm always going for like industry projects. The reason is because you need to, okay, what separates like good data scientists and great data scientists? Great data scientists mean like the data science that is actually paid handsomely with a good salary. What separates all both of them? I think good. Some more like not good. I'll say. I think lots of like aspiring data scientists actually start with with tools that they're passionate for, right? Oh, I heard that a lot of people actually use TensorFlow to solve this, right? And then they are obsessed with the tools first before the problems. But when it comes to real world, sometimes tools are not necessarily the best options. Sometimes actually understanding the problems are the important priorities, and knowing what stage of data science progress are the projects right now in. Sometimes also like when we receive lots of like data science projects, right? Sometimes the data is not ready, and that's life. When it comes to like doing real world projects, you also need to be very empathetic on which stage your data your projects are in right now, because there's no use for you like emphasizing, hey, we have to use TensorFlow, we have to use TensorFlow, we have to use PyTorch, we have to use like whatever tools. But at the end, your companies do not even have the right data sets yet, or the data sets are not cleaned. This is the reality of data science projects. Whether you have to face it, and if you are facing it as early as possible, it gives you some kind of real world perspective on what you need to expect when it comes to like doing data science. Sometimes like although we say that okay, AI for impact like helps non-programmers learn AI, but sometimes like in reality, like you might need to have a coding experience, right? Because like most of the times like the company doesn't have enough data sets. You need to have a web crawling and mechanism to source the data, and you need to have that perspective at the start. That means that when you are in universities, you still have time to take up some modules. You need to have some time to learn, let's say, learn casually as well. You know what to learn next because you have an idea on what data science project in real life looks like. It's not as it seems. Like especially from us, like from a company perspective, right? I think for us, because we have a good data science team, we know like, and we provide data end-to-end data science pipeline well. We don't want to put let's say non-tech experts on the engineering side. We put it on a more like maybe on the problem solving side, on the modeling side. But for most companies, especially like startups, people are looking for generalists, and they grow at different stage as well. So having the industry projects is really important, I feel, and it also gives you some kind of competitive edge. Oh, I've actually like solved this kind of problem before, and not just during your resume, right? Not just on your CV, but during your interview. When a technical person's like interview you, say, oh, what have you done? Okay, I've done this project. Oh, interesting, tell me more. When you share to them, you have a real world point of view on like on the limitations and how you overcome the limitations as well. Because again, companies are looking for problem solvers, and they want to test as much as possible when it comes to how adept you are when it comes to solving real world data science problem. Yeah, always focus on industry projects. If you have an internship opportunities, offer yourselves like to work for free, because guys, experience are the key right now for you to succeed. And the earlier you get that experience, the easier you are to pitch for the better internship opportunities. It is exponential, so you need to have that exponential growth as early as possible. The other one is impact. Publish your results, make a difference. Also, right, what separates our students, like the best students among the rest, I think some students are I know that, I think for us like as Asian, like we can be shy sometimes. We thought that it's not good enough. So but there is no lose when it comes to publishing your results. Even when you are about to start learning, it's also good to actually publish your results or your simple models. Let's say you are working on a toy project, for example, in Kaggle, right? Because they have this kind of Titanic project, right? It's a simple practice problem, but I think the fact that you are showcasing your proactiveness, the fact that you are attempting this project as real as possible, that gives you appreciation on the industry perspective. And sometimes you might not know what comes to you. Like I think lots of our students actually get a lot of opportunities because they start publishing it, no matter like how simple or how complex. Maybe the simple one, they get more opportunities in like research projects by the professors, doing some kind of like year 2 design projects, research projects, while the one who are solving more complex problem, like they get immediate internship positions, right? So how do you effectively publish your results? I think first one is like go to online publications, like data science and AI. I think you all know that most of you guys actually read Medium to actually look for inspirations, right? Don't just read, be the creators, be at the end of the of the spectrum, because like as what our previous two speakers like have mentioned, people actually do read your results actually. And the more you sow your seeds, I mean you spread your seeds on the industry perspectives, the more you also get the opportunities as well. And for us, I think what works in the past is that like most of students like use these two medium and LinkedIn. LinkedIn, why? Because there are lots of data science like recruiters, and they right now they are operating on a hunting basis. They are like hunters actually. Their clients are looking for intern positions, and they are looking for, if you are proactive when it comes to publishing your results. Oh, you are still year one students, but actually you have these projects A, B, C, and you publish it on LinkedIn or on Medium, right? It says a lot about you. So don't be afraid to publish your results, no matter like how young you are. Like even better, like say when you're still high school, right? Okay, even like one of our students, right, actually high school students from Indonesia, in fact. And then what she did is that like she built chatbots to learn sign language, to teach people sign language. um, the chatbot is very simple. It's not complex NLP. It's just a simple NLP template, right? But what happened is that she makes some kind of nice presentation out of it, and she published the chatbot, right? And what happened is that like from that onwards, right? A lot of companies actually take interest about her projects. But the issue is that she's still in high school, right? So I mean, maybe like she doesn't have like, she can't jump into internships and all that. But this gives her a lot of visibilities. So I want you to be in a state that it's not that you are hunting for companies. Companies are hunting for you. And the way to do that is to start as early as possible. If if you are year one, you publish Medium, is more impressive than when you are year four and you are published Medium. So this is what we are saying. Web applications as well, something that your employers can use. I think this is the best actually like testimony, where you are building something that your employers can use, or when your professors can use. This speaks a lot of volume about yourself. You can solve problems, and people can use the solution that you solve. So we really, if as much as possible, try to build an app. I think this is the second stage of you after building a maybe like writing it on Medium, because that speaks a lot of volume. That means that you are not just able to learn the concepts, you are able to solve the problems, and you are showcase that actually your app is actually active right now. You are actively still solving the problems. So I think one of our students actually are publishing their dengue portal actually. I think it's called mozinet.io. You can Google it. But what happened is that I think one of them actually got internship as was actually one of the summation program under SC Innovate. Very good salary and work in a very nice company as well, a nice startup, because she actually showcased that she can do the stuff, and she was still year one at that time. And if possible as well, try to be bold as well. Try to try to do consultancy. I think one way to build your trust is actually when you are solving a lot of industry projects. And if you don't have opportunity to secure internships, create your own opportunities. Try to actually ask around. Actually, maybe like your alumni network is actually have work with startups, and you can actually offer them some kind of free services. Hey guys, your startup looks cool. I believe on what you are doing. Let me just maybe I might offer some help as a student. This is what I can help you right now. Look at their job descriptions, look for the full-time position they have, offer the services that they are looking for, but for free and as an intern. As a student. that speaks volume about startup, because startups, like, even for us right now, we are expanding a lot, and we we need a lot of help. So that's why I think we have this apprenticeship program, right? Because we are now exploring, like, how can forecasting be used to forecast stocks, because stocks is not just about price prediction. It's actually very complicated, but we don't have time to explore that, right? So what we do is that we open up this apprenticeship project, and then we invite lots of, like, students to actually, like, work on us together, right? Try to look for feature engineering process of stock forecasting. What is the best signal for us to what is the best predictive signal that leads to fluctuation in prices? It's our students are start with non-programming background. They don't have, like, data science experience, but they're working very hard. And even when they are not successful, we are still appreciative, because they show us the way on what makes things doesn't work and why doesn't it work. So we really appreciate our apprentices, and they are doing really great job for us, even though they are not successful. And right now, we are more than willing to give them some kind of recommendation letter to anyone who are hiring for, data science intern, especially in the financial sectors. Even I think one of them are now working in as a intern in a hedge fund. It's called Millennium. Yeah. So now he's still under, like, still our apprentice, and he's now working right now as an intern as well in a hedge fund, actually, because of him being so proactive. Yeah. So if you don't have opportunities, create your own opportunities. Offer free services for as many people as possible. So maybe just to check on time as well. Okay, still have time as well. I think also I do mention about the 3 steps, right? Learn, do, impact. I think the first thing you have to be aware of is that which stage are you in right now. We classify, like, your knowledge into 4 different, like, stages, I would say. I think the first one is awareness. Awareness is when, I think, when you start asking what actually AI is about, how does it apply in real world. So I suggest that when you still have that questions, right? I think most of you maybe, like, already passed through that. But if you are in that stage, right, I think it is better to know why. Why do you want to learn AI? Why is AI important? Why is AI the hottest, the next data? I mean, the next, like, hottest job for the 21st century, right? You need to know the why before digging deep into the technicalities. Otherwise, I tell you, it can be, like, a bit very dry for you to learn AI without knowing the reason why. The second one is literacy. When you know the why, so this is where I think you can actually start exploring. Learn the basic concepts, like what I think Riser has mentioned. Start with a simple techniques as well, and the important part is apply the simple techniques to the real world projects, because, like, you need to learn. I think we need to learn start to end first, end to end AI development. How does it work? It's not useful actually to go deep at the start. It's more useful to go wide. How does, like, end-to-end machine learning pipeline works, and learn as many basic concepts as possible across, I mean, laterally. What is the basic feature engineering concepts? Maybe max value, mean value, average value. Why is max value important for certain data science projects? Why is, like, filtering, like, average the best one, the better approach before you inject that data into your model, right? Before your neural network models, and solve real problems at the start. Go to Kaggle or join a community, right? For us, we also have real problems. You can also, like, look at our website. There are some access to I think some of our students have done the homework. They tell you how to source for the data sets. So you can actually follow them as well. Proficiency. So it's not enough for you to learn basic concepts. If you really want to excel, you need to go deep. And to be honest, actually, this is where you need to start exploring programming. But by that time, you don't have to worry, because you know what does it take, what are the concepts, right, for you to build some kind of AI solutions. So when you Google, you know how to Google stuff. So this is what separates you compared to someone who jump in with the tools before the concepts. When you know the concept, you know how to Google stuff, you know how to look for solutions. So that, I think, speeds up our students' journey when it comes to learning data science more effectively. They know the terms, they know like what to look for. So explore, right? I mean, there are so many tools available, there are so many communities available. Try to connect with the communities and try to get a mentor as much as possible. Finding mentors are not easy, but if you are persistent, if you offer something that nobody offers, right? Free services, free like maybe free data wrangling work, data collection work and all that, right? Then the mentors will appreciate it, and then they will actually like guide you further. The fourth one is mastery. Mastery is actually when you don't have to attend this talk anymore. When you know how to when you know how to actually find your own find your own opportunities lah. But does it end there? I think it doesn't. Like this is where you can excel, right? From good data scientist or from good ML engineer to excellent or master AI engineers. How do you grow from there? The first one, teach others. We as practitioners learn a lot from teaching our students. We learn some new techniques that we have not explored before because our students actually learn more things, right? They Google a lot in the internet, right? And yeah, like by teaching others, we kind of like underestimate the importance of teaching others for our own learning as well, because our students are the one that Google things for us. I mean, they are all Googlers lah. They are all are Google warriors as well. And when they found out good techniques, right? Actually, they actually teach us. They right now, I think we learn some techniques to minimize our compute resources, but actually from the students, technique that our students actually explored, because one of our students for some reason actually like spend $5,000 building his own rig right now for AI experiment, and he knows the trick and tricks actually on what is the good research paper that he found out useful and can be applied. Then he shared it with us. Then we learned. Do more commercial projects. I think this is where at the stage you can monetize your skills. So monetize your skills. I think it's good to have additional income. And if you have time, I think if you have resources, build a startup, because the world needs more problem solvers. And I hope that you are on the side where you can actually apply your skills for good in a way. Yeah. So these are the four stages that you might want to be aware of. Okay, I think this is maybe like how do you start, right? We do have some opportunities right now. We have this ongoing challenge as well, but this is not really an AI challenge. This is more like a chatbot challenge. We are running these competitions right now where our community learn how to build chatbots to save tourism. It's still on the learning stage. So if you want to join, you don't want to join the competition, you want to learn as well only, right? Just join our community. I think it's better to learn together rather than learning alone. So, but from that onwards, I think we want to teach you like more high level stuff, like how do you like classify different kind of sentiments actually using NLP models, right? But I think what I'm trying to say is that I think learning is more fun with the community. And the second part is that like try to get expose yourself to as many real world projects as possible. And yeah, we try our best to make AI fun, but I think you need to put your effort as well. AI is not easy, but if you know how to break down your learning step, I think it's not as painful as it seems. Yeah, I think that's all about my talk. Any questions, like let us know. Oh, I think if you want to see like what our students have done, I think you can go to chatbot.university, or you can go to AI for Impact just to research on what kind of models have they built, what's their approach, and all that. I think you can learn a lot from our students also. Yeah, that's all from me. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
All right, thanks a lot. I think we'll put in a Slido. Yeah, there is a Slido in right now. Can someone share the link in the chat so people can ask him questions?
Right. Shall I open it on my screen or?
Yeah, it's there right now. I think in the chat.
Okay, let me just let me share first. Or maybe Aditya, can you help read out the questions
Oh, sure. Give me a second.
while I'm trying to publish the Slido?
Do you want me to share my screen?
Okay, sure.
Sure. Yep. The first question is how to get internship in Singapore for international students in SIM.
Okay, I think this topic has been asked before, right? But maybe just to let you know the reality is that I think right now for international students is actually okay for internship. I don't think it's not more difficult. I think full time is more difficult, but internships I think there's no restrictions right now when it comes to internships. What you have to do is to apply. I think the question is that how can you separate yourself from the rest? How do you stand out, make yourself stand out? What I see that our students are doing that are very effective is that they know how to not just to solve problems, but how do you portray themselves well in a professional setting. Some of them are quite good in using LinkedIn to publish their, I mean, to portray their profile, to increase their visibility. So I think I tell you a story is that like from the outcome of the deep learning datathon, right? Actually, we have 4 winners at that time. The first winner, second winner, third winner, fourth winner, merit award, right? But what happened is that like these students who are winning the merit award, actually he published, his achievement on LinkedIn together with the Medium article as well, and that gets like him noticed. And the reason because like I think he's actually quite eloquent as well when it comes to like writing his achievement, right? Oh, I've been a winner. I started with let's say zero machine learning background, and then like he kind of like solved their problems. Like there is difficult, but he said he's more than ready to actually overcome any challenges. So he writes it well. He gives across a good story about himself, and at the end of the line he also shared his Medium link. In fact, we still give him certificate as well for winning the challenge, right? But what gets him like into internship positions in, I think, yeah, I think I'm sure it is Snyder um, or pharmaceutical company. I forget which company. But what makes him stand out is because like I think the way he portray himself on LinkedIn, he dressed quite nice as well. Like he gets a good profile pictures, and also the Medium article he attached on as a link. I think that gives a company confidence when it comes to hiring. So I think maybe just to give you some perspective, in industry, right, there's a bias towards like hiring someone from statistic background, data science background, and computer science background when it comes to trying to look for AI positions of ML or data science, right? So unfortunately, those who are not in this background, right, you need to work yourself up. And the simplest way is actually by creating, doing a project and publishing it as a medium. So what you are telling them is that, hey, I'm not from this mainstream or popular background, right? But I can solve problems, right? And it gives some kind of additional edge as well. Okay, oh, this guy, although he's not coming from zero background, right? He or she is actually a fighter. So what you can do is that publish your results on LinkedIn, and then okay, create a results, publish on Medium, and publish it on LinkedIn. And the second thing is that don't restrain yourself to Singapore. Right now, people are more comfortable working remotely, right? And there are lots of opportunities overseas as well when it comes to internships. The point is to get strategic real work experience. And if you don't get it in Singapore, explore overseas. Maybe explore your own country, right? Try to find out like what are the most interesting projects or companies that are involved in AI or data science, right? Predictions or classifications or chatbot, NLPs and all that, right? Write to them. I would say even message the 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 recruiters on LinkedIn or the hiring managers on LinkedIn. I think you have to be bold right now. I mean, it might be kind of like too pushy at times, but some people do appreciate your proactiveness. So do extra mile because that early advantage. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
So the second question is, so it is recommended for us to have a portfolio, right? Do we need to make our own website from scratch to contain this portfolio?
I think you don't have to actually. Like I think yes, having creating your own website gives you some kind of freedom to I mean to do your narrative, right? But there are lots of like I think lots of recruiters, lots of professionals are using social media to I mean to look for talent or to I mean to look for ideas, to look for maybe some kind of partners to work with, right? Friends and all that, right? So you can also leverage your own like social media network. I think when it comes to internships and full time, LinkedIn can be a top choice, but like the what Riser has mentioned, Twitter can be an option as well because even like I mean my our head of data science, right? Our head of AI, my boss actually are more active on in Twitter compared to LinkedIn. And if and maybe like Twitter is less crowded over LinkedIn when it comes to like data science showcasing your data science portfolio. So you don't have to create a website, but I think you have to be proactive in publishing your achievements. LinkedIn, Medium, GitHub as well. I would say I think you can host it. Even on your CV, right? You can just post instead of posting like, oh, I've actually completed, let's say, Python 101 or DS 101, right? Publish your results there, publish your applications there as a link, so people can click and then oh, this guy actually have managed to build your stuff lah. Instagram, can we use Instagram to a certain extent? Uh, I think some of our students actually get some opportunities through Instagram, but maybe not internships, but more like like collaboration lah, collaborative projects through Instagram. Yeah, but no need website. You can leverage your own social media page.
Okay. Thanks. Third one is, can you recommend some sources on AI and maths? Where do you read papers to keep track of the trends?
Right. Okay. Where do you usually read papers to keep track of the trends? Right. I think from okay because we're practitioners, right? We often read research papers to find out I mean the best tools available, right? But I think as what the previous speaker has mentioned, research paper can be dry and it might require some kind of knowledge to comprehend what they are talking about. And I think the most frustrating of all is that some research paper that we seen, right? I mean internationally, right? Are actually like they are a bit I mean they have good introductions and all that, right? But when we try to deploy their code on our own like system, actually it fails. So I think it depends on what you want to do. I would say that I think um, try your best to if I mean as I mean if you are a student, right? I think try your best to look for other alternatives. Like I think the first one is the medium, right? Because there are some people who are actually like writing their results, publishing their results in a more comprehensible way, more friendly, beginner friendly. So medium articles can be the right way. And the second one maybe GitHub, because I think GitHub forces you to post something that is already proven well, or maybe you can just like click and then it works like they have some kind of deployment. uh, try to look for try to be strategic in terms of looking for sources. So for us we have some kind of like reference when it comes to sources. I think when it comes to machine vision, I think fast.ai is not so bad. It's quite complicated, to be honest. It's hard for beginners, but I think the creators are very pragmatic, right? They have some kind of code already. On AI for impact, we do have resources on forecasting, time series forecasting, because we are like a forecasting company, right? And we do have some use cases as well. I mean, our student medium, okay, medium publication from our students when it comes to forecasting for energy, for prices, and for rare events like dengue. So maybe you can start from there also, right? I think it's more comprehensible. But try to be more strategic. I think for me, I would like to avoid research paper. I would like to go more into some kind of producible, like like real code lah, in a way. If you are more advanced, GitHub is a way. Attend Data Science SG talk as well, because they also like try. You can talk with the mentors right away. You can interview them. Sometimes you get some kind of nugget of wisdom from interacting with them, other than doing research paper lah. Because it's two-way. You can ask them right away. Yeah. Some resources on AI and math. Like I mentioned, I think fast.ai, Medium. Medium is a good source as well. Data Science SG has, I think the community has been trying hard to curate the best speakers who actually have a lot of substances. So you can attend that, and you can also look for the reference that the speakers have have mentioned lah. But I have to warn you that some of them are not beginners friendly. Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for the questions.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions? Just type in here.
Or DAC as well. Maybe like if DAC publish a paper, I think I'm
Uh,
sure that has been made, like has been undergone some kind of like filtering. So you can look for like student clubs as well. DAC. I know that MLDA and TU as well also is very active when it comes to deep learning research. NUS, I think we work with Statistics Society. NUS Statistics Society also, like, I think have some kind of like program as well. Or join us, AI for Impact. Yeah, because I think our head of AI actually has been personally, like, involved in giving some kind of recommendation. Yeah.
okay. If there are no more questions, then thanks a lot, Christian.
Yep, no worries, guys. Have a good night. Yeah.
Really appreciate the talk.
Yeah.
We understood like a different lot of different facets of data analysis and the industry in general.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, by the way, if you can just follow my LinkedIn if you want to
Sure.
talk a bit more. Yeah.
For the LinkedIn, where do we get the link? Oh,
Right. Okay. My bad. My bad. I'll post it on the chat
sure.
while you are doing the closing.
All right.
Maybe.
Sure. All right, then. Thank you for all the guests to come today. It was really, really a great session for all of us, and it gave us a stepping stone into the industry, like a perspective about how the industry functions and what we require to get into it. Also, for all the other participants, there will be the second day of the industry talks happening on this coming Wednesday, the 27th. So, hope to see all of you there as well. Yeah, Christian's LinkedIn is there in the chat right now. So, you all can go and follow him. Other than this, do the guests have anything else to add? Okay, if nothing, then the excos.
No.
Don't have.
All right, then thank you very much for coming today, especially the guests and the participants as well. It was quite an insightful session, and for me personally, it was quite insightful. Like, as an international student, I learned a lot. So thanks a lot for all the guests for coming and sharing their knowledge with us. And for the participants, hope to see you guys this Wednesday. See you, everyone. Yep. Bye bye.